Joining me now, Roland Martin, host and managing editor of News One Now on the TV1 cable network. Yeah, I see you're ready to get into this. Look, Roland, some of the candidates who spoke to Morgan said they voted for President Trump. Is it fair to blame him for emboldening these candidates?
We actually sit down and lay out the language that Donald Trump uses, the language that George Wallace used when he ran for president in 1968. When you lay the language down that Richard Nixon uses, when you use certain phrases, when you push the law and order buttons, when you look at how Trump, his attacks on illegal immigration, in many ways it mirrors the language that was being used attacking civil rights. When you saw the whole white flight out of suburbs with desegregation and busing in the early 1970s as well. And so, trust me, Trump knows exactly what he's doing. Go back to the whole birther language, same thing, questioning the identity of the 44th president, the nation's first black president. And so there's a direct correlation between language that Donald Trump uses, the buttons he's pushing, that appeals to white nationalists.
Does the president's pardon of Dinesh D'Souza, who posted critical tweets about President Obama, does that add to this phenomenon? And would this even have happened in the absence of a Trump presidency?
Well, here's what's interesting. So what a Dinesh D'Souza does, because he is a man of color, he basically gives the freedom to white nationalists to say, see, he's not one of us, and look at him. The reality is the president of the United States has the right to pardon anyone. President Barack Obama issued a number of pardons. The difference with Trump is he has no process. He does just whatever he wants to. You can do that, but he has no process. Dinesh D'Souza is a vile, despicable individual. When you look at the comments that he has made, you look at what his ex-wife had to say about him, he pushes the race buttons as well and wants to come off as, oh no, I'm just a scholar. And so now he's going to be unleashed. And so Trump, even in his own comments, said how he called him up and I want to see you out there. That's what a D'Souza does. You really have to ask this other question. Why is it that white nationalists, what is it about the Republican Party that's appealing to them? See, you're not seeing the level of white nationalists on the Democratic side, but what is it that is appealing to them on the GOP side? That's how we begin to go deeper and say, wait a minute, something else is here about their agenda, about their rhetoric, about the attacks on people of color. That's critically important.
Now, in all fairness, these Republican parties across these states where these candidates are, they have denounced these candidates. We just want to say they've gone on record as saying that. But the declining level of discourse overall...
But Alex, let me stop you right there.
Okay.
Here's what I really want your producers to do for a great segment next weekend. Go back and go get the tapes of Lee Atwater, where he described how you use language. This is the guy who ran President George H.W. Bush's campaign, later became the head of the Republican National Committee. He said, we can't say the things we used to say. And so there are audio tapes where he is describing how they use coded language to appeal to aggrieved white voters, namely white men. Trust me, it will make for a fascinating segment, and people will be shocked to hear it. And he is considered the creme de la creme of Republican political strategists.
And add to that even the way there's a suggestion of using humor now to do that, because that sort of masks everything, or at least gives a certain level of cover to this whole Lee Atwater point, and your point is taken there. But with regard to humor, what happened with Roseanne Barr and, Samantha this week? I mean, look, they're both comedians. They both have been roundly condemned. I mean, compare and contrast these two incidents. How do you read them in your mind?
Well, first and foremost, here you have Roseanne Barr, who trafficked in Pizzagate and other conspiracy theories, who trafficked in anti-Semitism and her racial attacks. Calling Valerie Jarrett an ape wasn't the first time she had done that. She did the exact same thing to Susan Rice. What do they have in common? Two accomplished black women. And so that's the difference there. Samantha first of all, with her attack on Ivanka Trump, she's used the same word before on her show, but there wasn't an outcry. So now you got to ask the question, now wait a minute. If she's used the same word before and it was bleeped, there wasn't an outcry, Are we only mad because she was using it in reference to Ivanka Trump? That's the real deal there. Should she have used it? No, there's other ways you can actually criticize somebody. But the difference between those two, Samantha Bee is critical within the context of her show in terms of how it's framed. It's a satirical comedian show. Roseanne Barr, direct personal attacks on individuals on Twitter, huge difference.
So the
huge
president, so the president calling for the firing of Samantha Bee, is there a double standard then in the consequences for the choice of words?
Well, it's very simple, Donald Trump. Did you order people to be thrown out of your rallies who wore shirts with the same word describing Hillary Clinton in your rallies? There are female journalists who are on record as saying Donald Trump called them the exact same word. But here, I don't care what Donald Trump tweets by calling somebody to get fired. You are told double standard there as well. You got Kelly Sattler, who was just sitting in the White House, okay, who made a vile comment about John McCain, told Meghan McCain she was going to apologize. She has not done it. This president loves to demand apologies from other people. He still has not apologized to American people for his racist birther attack on President Barack Obama. He has not apologized for numerous lies that he has told. And so Donald Trump has no room to demand an apology from anybody, considering he has not apologized for the vile things that he has said about women and about other folks as well. And so his tweet is absolutely irrelevant. Go sit down. You should apologize, Donald Trump, for things that you have said that have been despicable and have not been words that the president of the United States should be using.
All right, Roland Martin, telling it like it is. What are you doing? Going to a Houston Astros game or something?
Well, I told the Astros owner Jim Crane I was going to represent us being the World Series champs. Plus, we still got first place this year. So all your Yankees fans, we're going to beat y'all again.
I'm gonna be wearing an LA Dodger shirt at some point, despite Clayton Kershaw.
You don't want to do that.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Because we
LA
beat
girl.
y'all too.
All right, Roland Martin, I still love you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.